Welcome to Talking Halo. This is Derek Ciapola with my co-host, my partners in crime, Jared Timms and Nate Green. It is September 11th. We want to thank everybody who served during that time. We also want to thank our first responders, and we want to honor everybody who, over the course of time, have given time themselves for this country. And I want to move on from that because I'll get emotional. So,
So
yes,
I'll say you in particular, and I'll also throw out the happy birthday to Taylor Blake Ward. He doesn't like when people know that it's his birthday. He doesn't celebrate his birthday, but happy birthday to him, you know?
happy birthday, dude.
Yeah. Don't tell him though.
So,
Don't tell him. He's gonna hate me for saying it on this podcast.
so, oh my gosh, everybody, when you listen to this,
Please don't.
do us
Don't do it.
all a
Don't do it.
favor
Don't do it. I
and
was just kidding.
send Taylor Blake
Nope.
Ward
Don't do it.
a lovely tweet saying
Yep.
happy birthday.
I'll be getting a phone call in the morning about this one. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
You started it.
I did. I just want to say
I
happy
mean,
birthday to him.
we just took it a little bit extra to the mile. All right, guys. I've called this meeting. It's been a while since we've had a podcast, mostly because life's happening. But I've called this meeting in order with the gavel out. Okay. And the reason why is I want to do a post-mortem on a certain young man named Joe Adell. Joe Adell, the guy who was the top prospect in the organization for a long time, was presumed to be our next big superstar. Went from that to being a guy we were thinking about trading, who was a possible bust. And all of a sudden, look at his year now. I want to ask you guys about that. I have several questions about that. And of course, before we do, for our audio listeners, here's a word from our sponsors. All right. So, gentlemen, I'm sure you remember this, right? We've all been around the Angels organization for a while now. We know that he was presumably the star in waiting, one of the top prospects in baseball. And yet coming into this year, heck, I'll even include this year because he has in 6 years of major league time, 73 home runs, 222 RBIs, 27 stolen bases, and a batting average of 221. OPS is 700. His his numbers were pretty ugly, right? Just a WAR of .9 total for that whole entire time. Yet that includes his numbers from this year. Numbers this year: 35 home runs, 94 RBI, and a batting average of 242. On base 302, OPS of 806. So, well, first things first. Going to Nate. Where'd this come from? Did you expect it?
We did talk a little bit about his swing adjustment he made. I believe that was I'm gonna say it was like April. He made the swing adjustment. It was like April, May, where we were pretty frustrated with the way that things had gone early for him. We thought that this was kind of his year to prove, like last year it was, hey, you had a good year. Now prove that you should be in the lineup every day. And I think he kind of has done that he has proven he should be in the lineup every day. I think with how he's played this year, it's pretty much proven that he should play a corner outfield every day. But nonetheless, like he has proved that he has done enough to be in this lineup. But I think it was about April or late April, early May where we kind of noticed the swing change, and he started to put things together. And I think it's been really good for him, and that's been huge. But the power's always been there. Like he's always been a productive minor leaguer. It was just trying to figure out how to be a productive major leaguer and continue to make the changes necessary to be good. And so far this year, it looks like he's been able to do that, and I think that he should be a guy that's penciled in the corner outfield for at least the next couple of years.
Jared, how do you evaluate him?
Kind of like what Nate said. I mean, but I want to go back like even farther. Angels kind of, not kind of, Angels definitely screwed him over a little bit. Bringing him up in that 2020 season, I think that hurt him a lot. I don't think he was ready. I mean, he was what, 21 years old in that season, and just we all knew the 2020 season just wasn't going to be a good season in general. I think Billy Epler rushed him up, and you know, the rest is kind of history until now. Coming out of the draft, it was somebody that we knew might take a little bit longer to develop. It might start being that superstar talent now, which is, in a sense what we're seeing. I don't know if I'm going to call him a superstar, but I definitely think that he deserved to be an all-star this year. And he's, been a very, very good hitter, a reliable hitter this year that up until, this last week when he's been dealing with the vertigo has been, like I said, a reliable baseball player this year. Actually, over the last 2 years, like you not getting hurt all that much. He's going to be on the field, and that's something the Angels, can tend to have a problem with, especially this time of the year, and especially looking at the roster and lineups the Angels are putting out right now. The biggest stat that you mentioned that, or you didn't mention, wasn't, the home runs, wasn't the power, wasn't anything like that. It's the strikeouts. Yeah, dropping it down to 25%, 26% this year. He was at 27% last year, so you saw that jump
28.
last year, 28 last year, 27.9, 28% last year. So you saw the jump last year as well. And that was always the big key, as I watched him in the minors was like, yeah, he's got the big power. He's gonna hit for he's gonna hit for some average for sure in there. He's gonna hit for power. He's quick. Is he gonna be able to play defense? Is he just a raw athlete? Is he gonna strike out too much? And that's kind of what we saw in the first 4 years, as well as like, are the Angels actually going to give him a chance? We mentioned that. I mean, we've been doing this podcast ever since Joe Adell came up. So,
Mhm.
and I think every single year it's like, man, are the Angels going to give Adell his chance? Are they going to give him his chance? You might as well trade him away. In the beginning of this season, it was finally like, man, I don't know if you can keep Joe Adell around that often. He looks not very good, and then all of a sudden a switch turned, and he he was the best player in baseball, and honestly, probably is one of the best players in baseball from May on since that swing change. Um, so yeah, it's really impressive what he's done, and he's definitely solidified himself as a corner outfielder for the Angels in the coming years. Now, I don't know if you necessarily should extend him or anything like that, or what you should do in the outfield. That's probably a question that we can have at a later point. But he is a free agent in 2028, after the 2028 season, or in the 28 season. So yeah, we'll kind of see where that goes and see if he can continue this, and see if the Angels actually believe in what he's doing, or if next year if he kind of falls off again, we see the strikeouts pop up again and things like that. But I remember Nate and I always were saying like, guys, he's got the Justin Upton comp, and Nate would always mention like, oh, he's got his ups and downs, and Adele, I don't feel like he's really gone through the ups and downs this year. I feel like he's been pretty consistent of a hitter. I mean, he's probably had a little bit of a down, some downs for sure, where he's striking out a little bit more than we'd like to see. But he hasn't been that guy that goes on an 0 for 20 streak like we saw at the beginning of his career. He's been a very consistent player this year, in the power aspect, and even defensively, I think he's gotten a little bit better at a corner outfield spot. He's not a center fielder by any means, but yeah, I think that he's been a much more consistent player this year, and we'll continue to we'll see if he can do it next year as well.
When I look at him overall, it did catch me off guard because it was very low key. Like he didn't because the Angels have been so like basically bad for much of the year. It kind of goes under the radar, and then all of a sudden you look and he's at 35 home runs. He'll probably get close to 37, 38 by the time he's done. And you wonder, okay, well, where it came from with swing adjustment, so on and so on. You already knew it was there, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, for the most part, like the last 2 years, I mean, we pretty much given him up for dead in terms of his Angels career. Like this was a trade was going to happen. But you go back a couple of years and you were thinking, okay, between him, Trout, and Brandon Marsh, that was going to be the outfield of the future for a while there. And all of a sudden, two-thirds of those pieces were meant to be gone. And of course, Mike Trout's had a down year. When I look at this overall, when you're talking about do they turn around and extend him? I think next year's that year. Like I don't think you want to wait until 2028 if he's maintaining this, but you don't want to you don't want to wind up paying too much. So I think next year, if it's somewhere around there, 31, 30, even 31, 32 home runs and 95 RBIs and a 238 average, you probably try to extend them.
The
I'm
only
not sure how
thing
you guys feel about that.
I was gonna say, the only thing I can think about with extending him is that Artie halfway through the offseason did mention that they are quote unquote out of money because he was going to be losing $50 million. We're waiting on a Zach Neto extension. We're talking about possibly maybe extending Joe Adell. I know that Logan O'Hoppy's had a down year, but I mean, you maybe think about extending him at some point as well if he can do it. And that's probably it. But you don't want to use your expenses this offseason towards an extension, especially when you have Anthony Rendon coming off the books next year. with a lot more money there. So if you think that if you're thinking that you're going to contend next year, you probably want to put a lot of your money into this offseason. Get pitching, get another hitter or two to solidify the lineup and put right behind Trout with Neto. But yeah, I mean, I think you give him another year. I don't think you can extend him on a 1 year thing. But yeah, if you can extend him to, 32, 33 years old, so it's not that much farther, and he's continuing to do this, I'm okay with something like that, especially if you put him in a corner outfield spot. And especially if you think that he can play a corner outfield spot too, because you also have Mike Trout DHing, and he should be a DH and for the rest of his career, you would assume.
I think honestly, the extension's a pipe dream. I wouldn't even. It's not even worth bringing up, honestly.
Why?
Who's his agent, fellas? Scott Boras. Move on. Okay. He's not signing an extension. He doesn't sign extensions. That's not who Scott Boras is. Like Scott Boras will wait it out. He'll wait till 2028 and he'll try and sign the massive deal. Especially not the hey, we're gonna extend you for 2 years, try and keep you till 32 and then hope that we get another extension. Like, no, no, no. Scott will sign his 6, 7 year extension and maybe there's an opt out or whatever, but he's not going to shortchange his clients. That's not who he is. That's not what he does. So
You
it's just not even worth bringing up
you
the
you
extension
could
part.
you could extend him 6, 7 years, and that puts him at 33 years old. I think he's only 26 right now.
He is, but then you run the risk of what if he's not the player that you think he is?
Exactly.
Like this is the first year of him being good. I would love to see him continue to be good. I would love to see a couple more years of him being good. But like let's wait until we find out that he actually like he looks like he is a guy that can be an all-star. But what happens if he goes back next year and strikes out 35% of the time and ends up hitting 210 with 20 homers again? And it's like, I don't know if this is a for sure guy that plays on a winning baseball team every day. So just knowing who his agent is and knowing how the Angels deal with Boris, typically it's like it's extension is not really likely.
Well, for talking about extensions, I mean, if you are the Angels right now, what is the absolute best way in your view to handle Joe Adell to make sure that he builds off of this season? If you are the Angels, what's the best thing they can do? Nate,
Tell him he's a right fielder or tell him he's a left fielder and let him learn how to play that position and let him continue to grow as a hitter. Like he has done a lot better job of not striking out, putting the ball in play a little bit more. And when you put the ball in play more and you don't strike out, like the average is bound to go up just based on how things work. And he does make loud contact as well. So it's not like he's hitting the ball softly and things are just dropping, like he hits the ball hard. But I think for him to continue to get better, like make it pretty obvious, like, hey, Joe, you're going to play right field every single day, or Joe, you're going to play left field every day. Don't tell him he's going to play center field because he's not a center fielder. But say, hey, you are the right fielder of the future. We believe in you. Continue to get better, and maybe you get a small extension done with him where it's like a 2 year deal this year where you don't have to go through ARB with him for a year. But I don't think Boris would do that either.
Well,
So you're
why are you bringing it up? It's a pipe
just
dream.
you could try. Like there's no reason you couldn't try. But Boris doesn't sign extensions, especially this late into their career of like, hey, let's try and give them a year or two of control. That's just not who Scott is. He's trying to get the most money for his client. So, um, yeah, I think that the most important thing for him is to tell him he is an everyday guy at this position and just let him continue to grow.
Jared,
Yeah. I mean, just let him keep doing his thing, right? I mean, as long as you can find a way to make him not strike out 35, 40% of the time, I think he's going to be an okay player. I mean, he was the 10th overall pick and highest upside out of a high schooler in the draft for a reason. I mean, you you let the kid go, you let him go. He's still young, still got some upside. I mean, he's it wouldn't surprise me, and this is just as likely as an extension, but it wouldn't surprise me if he hit 50 home runs 1 year. Like let him go hit in the home run derby one year. Like he's got that type of power. It's a lot of fun to see him play. So yeah, just let the kid go out and let him go out and play. Let him go out and do his thing.
if you are looking at players to help supplement him because that was the biggest complaint we had for a long time too. Like Mike Trout didn't have somebody to hit behind in the lineup that provide him stability if Shohei Ohtani wasn't around. So he needed somebody. If you can help Joe Adell be successful for next year on a budget, what do you do?
Make Logan O'Hoppe hit again. Like, hopefully Logan O'Hoppe's hitting again. I mean, hopefully, I don't know, whatever they do with Jorge Soler, maybe he bounces back and has a Jorge Soler type of year. Like, it's that type of thing. Like, put Taylor Ward behind him. Like as Joe Adell, your three-hole hitter going into next year. I mean, I would put Joe Adell as your four-hole hitter and Taylor Ward as your five-hole hitter behind him. But that's just me because I'm leading Trout off, and Zach Neto could be your three-hole hitter. Sean will be your two-hole hitter. I know it's not the most fundamental of lineups there, but that's a combination of what they're doing now with what I think they should do. But yeah, I mean, I think they're going to go get a third baseman or a center fielder. You have to go get a bat. You have to go get at least one bat, and you need to go get somebody to play center field. So is that bat in center field? I don't know. I know people are saying Bryce Teodosio. I'm all for it. He's a great defender, but I think you need to go get a center fielder. But yeah, I think that if Logan O'Hoppe, you want it at the cheapest note. I think if Logan O'Hoppe can have a bounce back year next year and hit right behind Joe Adell or right behind Taylor Ward and make the lineup even longer, even harder to face, then that's probably the best route to go.
Nate?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if Logan O'Hoppe's the answer. I think you really have to go outside the org because I don't think the Angels have enough in the org to help. Murakami's a free agent. I know he's a big swing and miss guy, but he's got huge power from the left side. Like he would be an interesting guy. I don't even know if the Angels could get him, but he would be a really, really fun left-handed power bat that could hopefully play third base. Um, and then when you're saying on a budget, like I guess it depends on what's considered on a budget. But there are guys out there that make sense. Like the Reds are going to be willing to move some guys. They have 17 third basemen right now. Like maybe you could go get one of their guys. And you just never know who decides like, hey, it's time to move on from these couple guys. We'll have to wait and see what's available this offseason. Maybe the Rangers take a step back and go, you know what, like we need to move some guys, and it makes sense for the Angels, or maybe maybe the Cardinals continue to try and offload. I don't really know. It's hard to tell right now, but I think you have to go outside the org and find a piece to play center field, a piece to play third base, and one of those guys need to be a power hitting lefty. They need a left-handed hitting power guy. And honestly, if the Angels could get rid of Soler, that would make things even better because it opens up a for sure spot for Trout, a for sure spot for Adell, and things like that. But I think those are keys to helping him.
Speaking of Soler, I mean, could have probably predicted this, but waste of a contract there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, traded Griffin Canning for him. So I don't know if it's a waste of a contract. I mean, is
Still
Griffin Canning
money
helping
you
this
gave
team?
him. You still gave him money.
You gave him a big extension though.
He didn't
Not
get any
extension.
extension. So it's whatever. I mean, he's been hurt this year, so if you think he's gonna be healthy, that's fine. He's owed $12 million next year or something like that. So
13, I think.
But my issue with that been is Soler's been on the downside of his career for a while now, so I'll still go back and question that decision.
yep, yep. No, I
But
get it.
it is what it is, and it is what it is. Anything else you guys want to hit today before we roll out of here? We can watch some football. All right.
Good. I think that this is the exact team we thought they were, and it's almost time to go to the offseason and have some fun predicting who the Angels will sign in free agency because that's all we can look forward to.
Well, next we'll be predicting who's their manager. Who will their manager be? Sorry. Who will be the
Maybe.
guy? All right. Follow Jared on X at Jared_Tims. Follow Nate at NateGreen34. And follow me at DSPAL. Follow the entire team at Talking Halos. And until next time, we're out of here.